Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for not standing up for my mom when she was yelled at for being difficult at a restaurant? So, my mom and I have a historically strained relationship. That aside, she's been working near my house lately, and we've gone to breakfast on a few weekends lately. She tends to be kind of a Karen at restaurants. For example, she often sends food back saying it's cold, or if there's an unexpected ingredient in it, and tips embarrassingly bad. Never over 15% and kinda shamelessly presses no tip at square registers. Pretty routinely asks for changes to items on a menu. At this restaurant, she's repeatedly asked for a sandwich but without lettuce, onion, tomato and avocado. At some point, either she asked for a discount for removing these ingredients, or it was rung up in such a way that it's $3 cheaper. On this occasion, she placed this order, and it was rung up for the normal price, not with the $3 discount. She told the cashier, "Oh, they always do it for me such and such, and it's $3 less." The manager interceded and kinda curtly said something to the effect of that was a mistake, and we're not doing that. Whole time I'm feeling pretty embarrassed and wanting to leave. She continued to argue, and the manager told her, "You've been rude to each and every one of my staff. So if you can't order off the menu, you can go somewhere else." Anyway, she thinks I should have stood up for her somehow. I think this should be a wake-up call that her behavior is inappropriate. Now for the top comments. NTA. Can't imagine why that relationship is strained. I know, right? It's a mystery for the ages for sure. I'm betting her relationship with most people is strained. NTA. She's a grown woman who should be able to settle things for herself. She is as bad as a child both by not listening to the restaurant staff, who literally work there, and guilting you into automatically taking her side. I'm not 100% sure here, but I have this gut feeling her reasoning for why you should have stood up for her was "I'm your mother," which is not good reasoning. I'd chime in and say even most children would behave better at a restaurant/eating place, or I've just been lucky with mine, so this woman is way below a toddler in behavior. NTA. You sound more mature than your mom. No wonder your relationship is strained. Am I the antagonist for kicking my sister out? When my 42 male daughter May, 14F, came out as lesbian a year ago, I completely fine with it. She has been dating Ali, 14F, for 8 months. They're great together, and I'm completely supportive. My sister, 38F, has always been the golden child, and my parents threatened NC against me and my daughter if we didn't let her move in with us, as she couldn't pay rent anymore because she can't keep a job. She's lazy, and my parents enable her laziness and give her money. I reluctantly complied. So, 2 months later, here we are. My sister is stuck on the concept that guys marry girls. No in between. She'll roll her eyes on disgust if Ali and May are holding hands or something, but that's about it. She doesn't say anything about it ever. Today, Ali and May were taking selfies in the game room and talking about the Pride festival they went to last week. My sister barged in and started ranting about how ridiculous it is that she's dating a girl, and that love is only love if it's between a boy and girl. My daughter looked genuinely hurt. Cue me. I came upstairs and saw the look on my daughter's face, and I asked my sister to leave the room. I asked the girls what happened, and they explained it to me. I confronted my sister and she denied it. I pulled up the security camera feed on my phone. It picks up video and audio, not in bedrooms or bathrooms, and played it back to her shocked face. I told her to get the hell out of my house if she was going to treat my daughter like that. She packed her stuff and left within half an hour. My parents are furious at me, and they took my sister in. No one in my family is talking to me or my daughter, and I'm not sure I made the right call. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA. Good for you for standing up for your daughter. Let your sister be with your parents, since they seem to love her so much. It's not your responsibility to take care of a grown woman. Let your parents go no contact over this. Why would you want people in your life that do emotional blackmail and emotional abuse? My parents are furious at me, and they took my sister in. No one in my family is talking to me or my daughter, and I'm not sure I made the right call. Given how terrible your family sound, that seems like a win. NTA. The trash took itself out. You're absolutely not the a-hole. You stood up against bigotry, and I guarantee your daughter will remember that moment. You're a good dad. I'm sure your daughter is proud of you. Yeah, done good. Pops. Wish there were more dads who looked out for their kids like that. Definition not the a-hole and high five. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister I'll never speak to her again if she doesn't help our parents out? I'm 44 and my sister is 47. Our parents came from Mexico to the US before we were born and then had us. They were extremely tough on us growing up because we had more opportunities than they did, and you best believe we were expected to take advantage of said opportunities. Even though they could be harsh with us, I never doubted our parents' love for us. They gave up a lot in order to give us the things we needed. However, for the past 20 or so years my sister has painted a narrative that my parents were abusive and caused her trauma. She has a therapist and I know all she does is shit on our parents. It absolutely kills me. Our parents are getting older. Most of our family lives in Mexico and I live a couple states away. However, my sister lives in the state my parents live, just several hours away. I know they will need help taking care of themselves soon. So during a phone call, I told her that she, along with her husband and kids, should help them out. As much as I would love to help them, I would have to take a plane there. Both me and my husband have demanding jobs and we have little kids, 6 and 4. Meanwhile she lives a lot closer, and her kids are older, 18, 16, and 13, and can help too. My sister told me that it's best she keeps her distance from our parents because it's best for her mental health. And also that when her kids were little, they were yelled at and disciplined by my parents, and therefore they are traumatized as well and won't help their own grandparents out. I started crying and reminded her of the sacrifices our parents made for us to have a good life here. Even though they were stricter than most parents, I have deep respect and love for them and can see past it unlike she can. I told her if she doesn't go out to help them, I will never talk to her again until her funeral, and her kids won't be allowed to talk to my kids, who they are close with. My husband thinks I'm overreacting and feels bad for my sister, but the only people I feel sorry for are my parents, who have a daughter who hates them. Am I in the wrong? Now for the top comments. AITA, you can't force your sister to help your parents if she doesn't want to. There's clearly more going on than what you're telling us. If your sister has trauma from her relationship with your parents, she has every right to distance herself from them for the sake of her mental health. It's an asshole move to expect her to take care of your parents just because she's closer. If you're that concerned about your parents, you would try to figure out a way to make it happen. Threatening to go NC with her because she won't help is the cherry on top of this asshole cake. I'd like to hear her side of the story. I'm the oldest of 3 sisters, and my sister, who is 3 years younger than I, sees our childhood a lot differently than I do. Parents are often much harder on the firstborn, unintentionally. So if Op can see how tough the parents were, I can only imagine how much harder it was for her sister. AITA, you are very quick to demand she help. You need to look at options: either move closer, talk to them about moving to you, or arrange for outside care. Your experiences are not your sister's. She has set down a firm boundary. It's your job to respect that. Take her out of the caregiver equation and work out what you would do if she didn't live there. Total speculation. It's interesting to me that, while Op seems to have made up excuses for her parents' behavior, she is also the sister who conveniently moved farther away. I know with marriages these things happen, but it also sounds like Op may be in some denial of how shitty her childhood really was. Even then her sister could have had it worse, but even with denial some part of her knew to get away. AITA, you don't get to decide what another person dealing with trauma has to do to absolve you from your own guilt of not helping. If you want to help your parents, do it. Your sister can't. Full stop. Am I the antagonist for telling my classmate to cover up their legs? So this sounds weird, but I'm in the 8th grade, and we're doing senior trips all of this week. Yesterday we went to trampoline park, but this is a throwaway, so I won't say which one. but one of my classmates wore shorts. But she has eczema and has these hyperpigmentation spots on her legs. On the right she has this really big one, and on the left she has multiple smaller ones. They're all healed, but it's just hyperpigmentation that's left. But another one of our classmates has also my friend kept talking to me about the spots, and he even jokingly referred to them as cow spots or giraffe spots. And she heard us and got upset and told us, leave my legs out of your conversation. I get enough shit from strangers thinking I'll give their kids a disease. And my friend told her to mind her business, while I told her, if you don't want people talking about your legs, then cover them up. And one of her friends came to play knight in shining armor and said cover up and die of heat stroke, because it's only getting hotter here in the Bronx, and no one is wearing sweats all the time. A teacher then broke it up. So am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. So, you are young, and I want you to think about this. There are a lot of things wrong here. First, shaming someone for what they look like is wrong. Attacking someone for body weight or for skin color is wrong. Making fun of what someone's skin looks like is wrong. Second, telling someone that they have to dress a certain way to avoid unwanted attention is victim blaming. You told this poor person that it was her fault someone else wasn't being respectful. Third, when one of her friends did stand up for her, you made fun of his actions and told him to butt out even though you and your friend were already butting into the victim's business. Fourth, you justify saying she needs to cover up by saying she has done so in the past. Past decisions don't force someone to do the same moving forward. Maybe she did wear jeans and that's how she decided she was too hot this time. Maybe she changed her mind about what is comfortable. Right now is the time to take in the fact that someone can change their mind about what they are comfortable with, and people need to respect the new boundary. AITA, thank you for taking the time to explain all of this to this kid. As someone with psoriasis, arms, legs, face sometimes, in a very hot climate, this really lit me up. Even as an adult, people are 1. Incredibly ignorant and think it is contagious. Seriously? Have you not seen commercials for this? And 2. Incredibly rude. It is humiliating, infuriating, and demoralizing. Kid, you're the a-hole. You still have time to educate yourself on things outside of your personal experience and time to gain some basic empathy. I hope you don't grow up with these ways. My brother has it too. He suffers in the heat. His is debilitating sometimes. AITA, way to make someone feel like shit because of something they can't help. Should they wear jeans in summer heat? Also, if you don't want other people to talk about your legs, then cover them up. WTF shit is that? Op, you are a massive R. The right thing is to not talk about someone else's body. You don't get to comment on someone's body. She shouldn't have to cover up because you want her to. Your uncomfort is a you problem. Edit. Thank you kind stranger S for the award S. Am I the antagonist for telling my friend she shouldn't have a baby yet? I, 22F, have a 2-month-old son that wasn't planned. I was told I couldn't have kids anymore with the type of chemo I received. So wasn't using contraceptive, and well, turns out they were wrong. One of my closest friends, 22F, has been feeling broody since I had my baby. She told me this is why she's broody and now wants to have her own baby right now. She asked me what I thought about her deciding to have a baby. I told her that whilst I would support any choice she made, I wouldn't recommend she had a baby right now. Both of us have another year left at uni, and having a baby massively complicates things. I told her that she has only seen the fun side of having a baby, and not the up all night, smelly nappy changes, and covered in sick side of having a baby. I also told her that, although I love my son more than anything in the world, I wouldn't have chosen to have kids at this point in my life. She accused me of being an asshole and said that I wanted to be the only one with a baby, and that's why I didn't want her to have one. This isn't true, and it's not that I don't want her to have one. That isn't my call to make. I just don't think it's a good idea. Am I the antagonist? Edit. I text her and asked her if she wanted to. She could come to my house and look after my son for 24 hours, including overnight, and under my supervision. Obviously, to get a glimpse into parenthood. She said she wants to, so we shall see how that goes. Now for the top comments. NTA. Babies can be absolute hell, and you have no idea until you have had one. You tried to tell her, but ultimately she won't believe until she experiences it. There's nothing else you can do. I just don't want a baby to suffer the effects of a parent who isn't physically, emotionally, mentally or financially able to care for them properly. NTA. And her reaction just proves she isn't ready to have a kid. They aren't the latest Fendi bags that you try to score before your frenemies. They are a lifetime commitment. As I've heard online, babies are people, not shiny Pokemon cards. She asked. You answered. Why did she ask for your opinion if she didn't really want it, not the a-hole? NTA. She asked your opinion, but only wanted to hear what she wanted to hear. I hope you're recovering well and enjoying your baby. NTA. I had 2 friends in your shoes. Probably at 19 over 20. One got pregnant and the other one, who wants to do everything the other did, wanted a baby too. It did not turn out well, as you can imagine. Babies are a lot of work and they didn't get much support from family. It seems like your friend needs some help. The copycat friend ended up being bipolar, and while I'm not suggesting your friend is bipolar, I would gently recommend her talking to a therapist. I wouldn't say about the pregnancy, but something less direct. You are a good friend. She does not realize how much work a baby requires. Has she taken care of any babies before? Am I the antagonist for body shaming someone? I know from the title you are thinking yes, you are. But hear me out. A little side note to understand this is that I'm gay. A few weeks ago, I went to the beach with my family, and somehow on the beach we got on the conversation of social media, and I brought up the conversation of men sending unwanted pages pictures, and how I say things like, oh that's too small for me, or what am I looking at? Basically, I body shame these men that send me unwanted pages picture, because I classify it as sexual harassment and I use it as a defense system. Somehow this pressed a nerve with my brother and he started yelling at me saying stuff like, why on earth would you do that? And you know what it's like to be body shamed. Why would you say that? I used to be called fat and I started dieting and now it's a red. Then he stormed off the beach and went into our shed room and locked the door. A side note that might be needed is that before this, my brother had a rough time earlier in the year and he had to go see a doctor to get better with his mental health. Side note over. But afterwards my mother told me to apologize and I asked for what, and she said making him upset. But I refused because I took his actions as defending these men sexually harassing me. However, I'm wondering if I did the wrong thing because he has been more distant than ever. So, am I the antagonist for body shaming someone? Now for the top comments. NTA. It makes me wonder what your brother has been up to. Exactly this. First thing I thought about is if the brother is also a sender of unwanted pages pics, or he has a real small pages. NTA. Anyone who sends unwanted naked pics deserves whatever they get. Maybe your brother needs to reevaluate the situation so that he understands how gross and wrong sending those pics are. There's a major difference between sharing intimate photos between consenting people and outright sexual harassment. I think he's definitely overreacting and maybe even not understanding your side of things at all. This